Back with me in Juz Edu. Today we will learn about the life processes in unicellular organism. But before we go further into our today's topic, let's have a brief recap on previous video. In the past video, in the last video, we learned about animal cells and plant cell and its general diagram or labeling. So I hope that you already can master the basic of the cell chapter, or I can say that as the basic of the whole biology lesson that you will learn in this year and the next year. And then you also learn about the organelles. Organelles are like organ, but it is an organ of the cell. And then you guys also learn about how to compare in between plant cells and animal cell, which organelle present in animal cell and which organelle are absent in plant cell. And the last one is you already learn how to compare in between two similar organelles such as mitochondria and chloroplast. They seems like similar and post this almost similar function, but you guys should able to differentiate in between both of them. So today let's jump into our topic today, in which the life function or life processes of the unicellular organism. So in today's topic, we will learn two unicellular organism, in which the amoeba species, and the paramecium. I bet that you guys already familiar with this two example. There are a lot of unicellular organism, but let's focus on these two as it's been mentioned in your books, textbooks. So let's go to the amoeba, and as you can see here, this is a general structure of an amoeba, in which we have a contractile vacuole. You guys can refer to the last video, or I hope that you already remember the function of contractile vacuole here, so that will make our lesson easier. We have nucleus in the center of the cells with the pseudopodium. The pseudopodium means as false leg. So I bet that you can guess what pseudopodium do in amoeba life process. And we have cytoplasm, but we have endoplasm and ectoplasm. Both of these are cytoplasm for the amoeba. What is different is we have this kind of uh, barrier that separate in between ectoplasm and endoplasm, and we also have the plasma membrane and the food vacuole. So that is our structure of amoeba. So let's go into its life processes. The first process that we can go through is the movement of the amoeba. Why go into the movement first? Because I want to relate it with the pseudopodium or the fast leg. How did amoeba move? Amoeba move by extending its pseudopodium. When it extends its pseudopodium, the cytoplasm will flow into the extended pseudopodium, and that's how it's moved. And this process will occur many times or repeatedly as the uh, amoeba moves towards something or from something. Just like human, amoeba also can sense stimuli in which they can react to that kind of stimuli. For example, they can react to chemicals such as acidic condition because it's sensitive to the pH. Chemicals, bright light. Amoeba don't like bright light. They usually found in wet and dark places. And amoeba also react to touch by moving away. How it move away, you can relate it with this movement, in which it extends its pseudopodium and the cytoplasm will flow into the pseudopodium. That's make the amoeba move. So as you guys can see here, in which I draw here O2 and CO2, means that there are exchange of gas occur from or to the amoeba through the plasma membrane. And let's relate with the chapter 2.1 that you already learned. Plasma membrane allows exchange of respiratory or respiration gas so that uh, they can form their life processes, their metabolism. So here we can describe about the respiration of the amoeba. What they do, this oxygen and carbon dioxide or the exchange of respiratory gas are are through simple diffusion. We will learn more about the type of diffusion, active or passive transportation in chapter 3. But you can just remember that the exchange of respiratory gases are through the plasma membrane through the simple diffusion, as the oxygen and carbon dioxide molecules are small so that they can move through the plasma membrane easily. And then as living things or living creatures, they also can excrete, do excretion. So in order to understand how it does its excretion or excretory process, let's back into the contractile vacuole. The contractile vacuole here uh, function as storage to store water uh, and organic molecules and many things about it. So when water diffuse into the amoeba through osmosis, you guys should really pay attention to the term osmosis and simple diffusion here. Through osmosis, they will fill up the contractile vacuole. And then as the water fill up the contractile vacuole, H2O, as it fill up the contractile vacuole, it expand. Contractile vacuole is shortcut as CV, extend or expand into its maximum size. And when it reach its maximum size, the contraction occurs. Contraction occurs. You can imagine as balloon. You put water in it, and as it expands to its maximum size, it will start shrink or contract, so that the water will not able to fit more in the balloon, and the balloon slowly contract and push out the water, just like this contractile vacuole. And then the water excrete from time to time as the contraction occurs, so it push away the water. in simple term lah. And just a part of excretory process is carbon dioxide and the ammonia, in which uh, the byproduct of the metabolism and respiration. So these two things, CO2 and ammonia, need to be discarded from the amoeba, so it being excreted via diffusion. One more time, you should be alert of the term of how the molecules move through or from the amoeba. Next, we learn about reproduction of the amoeba. All living things need to reproduce, or not, they will extinct. And what is unique with the amoeba is it have two ways of reproduce, in which this can enable the survival in harsh condition. The first one is when in the normal condition, or all environmental factors approve the reproduction and suitable for the reproduction to occur, they will reproduce through binary fission. When we say about binary fission, you can imagine as two things split in one thing split into two different things that is similar to each other. So this is via asexual reproduction through mitosis. You will learn more about mitosis in chapter 5. And again, you should be alert to these keywords. And then if the condition is too harsh, the environmental factor is not suitable to amoeba to reproduce, they will form spores. These spores are able to sustain and to keep itself healthy in the harsh condition. So it will form spores, and then it will grow when the condition is normal or suitable. It's back to suitable. So we already discussed about the movement, and one more thing I think we should grow. As from its reproduce, it need to grow. How does the amoeba grows? It is as easy as it synthesizes new cytoplasm. It grow bigger and bigger in size. Thus, they need to synthesize more cytoplasm or new cytoplasm. You guys need to remember or to relate back to the previous lesson, in which the cytoplasm acts as a place or a medium for biochemical reaction to occur. So by synthesizing more cytoplasm or new cytoplasm, they can perform their life process more effective. And the last one is nutrition. You need nutrition to keep living. So that's the amoeba. So nutrition in amoeba occurs through process of phagocytosis. How phagocytosis occurs? they occurs or they happen just like the amoeba found its food. So this just you imagine as your food. This is your amoeba, and then the amoeba will surround the food using the pseudopodium. So this here you will learn that pseudopodium has its another function, not just as for movement but also in nutrition, in which they extend the pseudopodium. This pseudopodium will surround the food and make the food trap. As the food trap, it will form food vacuole. When the food vacuole form, the food vacuole form when the pseudopodium close each other or remerge into each other. So it will form a vacuole or food vacuole as you can see here, in which come from the combination or re-emerge of uh, two pseudopodium. Next, after it form food vacuole, this food vacuole will merge with lysosome. So you have your food vacuole here and your lysosome, and when these two merge, you guys should able to remember that lysosome contain lysozyme. So what lysozyme do? Referring to the previous chapter or previous lesson, lysozyme hydrolyze things, organelles, damaged organelles, and function in nutrition. So here lysozyme will hydrolyze the food. Just imagine like your enzyme hydrolyze your food in your stomach, in your digestive tract. So what they do after they hydrolyze the food, of course, they will absorb it. Then the food will be absorbed by the amoeba. This food will be used in their metabolism and their life process as a source of energy. And just like human, there are some residues or balance or undigested food. So the undigested food will be left behind. Discharged or left behind by the amoeba as the amoeba move. Just like I mentioned before, the pseudopodium will extend forward, but this undigested food will be left behind. They will not carry the undigested food and just leave it like that. So we complete our lesson in learning about the life process of the amoeba. Next, let's go into the life process of another unicellular organism, the famous one, which is the paramecium. You can see it's like it have a sandal-like shape, in which, in my opinion, make it easy to be distinguished with the another unicellular organism. So here is a key uh, structure of the paramecium, in which maybe not present in another unicellular organism. First, we have cilia. We need to know about this cilia because it will play important role in nutrition and movement of the paramecium. And then we have oral groove. This will play important role in nutrition. And then you have the anus, also in nutrition. in which I will explain more or deeper later. And nucleus. Referring back to our previous lesson, nucleus acts as the central command or act like brain of the cell. So same goes here. Nucleus control everything or occurs on the paramecium. And then you have the contractile vacuole. The contractile vacuole, as you can remember before this, what it do? It store food and water and organic material. So first, let's learn about the nutrition process of the paramecium. So it is important to you to know that this cilia move in a movement that we call as rhythmic beat of cilia, in which they help sweep food through the to the oral groove. You can imagine like you're sweeping the floor, just like you sweep the floor. Same goes to the paramecium. They sweep the food into the oral groove, and then again the food vacuole will form. So before that, I want to clear here that the food will enter through the oral groove, as the name suggests, oral and groove. The food vacuole will form as it enter the paramecium, and then again it will combine with lysosome plus food vacuole. And I guess you can expect what happened next, in which the lysosome inside the lysosome will hydrolyze the food. Then the digested food will be absorbed by the paramecium into the cytoplasm. And then again, the undigested food will be discharged. So it is not a really hard topic, but it as it possesses very similar process like nutrition formed by the amoeba. But what is the difference in between both of them is you should know that the nutrition in paramecium is not by phagocytosis. It's different from the amoeba, in which they do phagocytosis, in which they extend their pseudopodium and surrounds the food and trap the food, and then the process will be same in both of the paramecium and amoeba after the phagocytosis process of amoeba. And talking about phagocytosis, you will learn more, or you will find again this term phagocytosis when you learn about the white blood cell later, maybe in Form 5. Next is respiration. Again, the respiration, all living thing in the on the earth share this common or the same respiratory gas respiration, in which they take oxygen and they exchange with the carbon dioxide. So respiratory gas, same like amoeba, they exchange through the plasma membrane. by simple diffusion. Again, I want to highlight here that the process occurs through the simple diffusion. What I highlight here, you will learn later in chapter 3. Next, movement. As I mentioned before in the nutrition process, this cilia, this cilia plays important role in movement through the process that we call as the rhythmic cilia beat, or in Malay we call it as rentak rentas berirama cilia. And then same like amoeba, it's grow through the synthesization of new cytoplasm. And the paramecium will respond to the stimulus or stimuli just like another living thing. And also it react to the same like amoeba, in which two chemicals such as acid or alkaline respond to chemicals, bright light and touch. How they respond, they will move away from these things, move away to the safety. That is just instinct of all living things, in which to ensure their safety. And then again, the excretion process is also important, in which water will diffuse in the same like amoeba. The water H2O will diffuse in through osmosis. In through osmosis, again I want to highlight the osmosis here, through osmosis, and then it will fill up the contractile vacuole. As it fill up the contractile vacuole, the contractile vacuole expand into its maximum size. And as it expands to its maximum size, it will slowly contract, or the contraction will start. And then that is how the extra water will be excreted slowly from time to time. And before I forgot, this process we call as homeostasis, a part of osmoregulation. This is just a term of the whole process. As the name suggests, osmosis regulation is regulation of osmosis. It's just a term in which it simplify everything. But from the term, we will able to describe what is actually occurs in that process. And then again, the CO2 and ammonia will diffuse through simple diffusion. Oh no, diffuse via diffusion. And then to ensure the species survival and not to make them extinct, they will reproduce. How did the paramecium reproduce? This is a bit different than the amoeba we learned before this, in which in suitable environmental condition it will reproduce through asexual reproduction via binary fission or mitosis. But if the condition is harsh or not suitable to the mitosis to occurs, they will reproduce through the sexual reproduction. It is not just same like human. The sexual reproduction here is primitive. What I mean with primitive, because it occurs on the simplest principle of the reproduction, in which there is change of genetic materials. It is not like human, in which we exchange in between human and ovum, or human and ovum will merge and form this and that. This is just a primitive form of sexual reproduction in which they exchange their genetic materials or DNA, or specifically the RNA. They exchange their genetic material through a process that we call conjugation. Conjugation. This you don't need to make yourself busy with the term of conjugation or primitive. This is just extra knowledge. We will learn more in higher level. And but you are free to watch the video on how the conjugation occurs. It is really interesting. So that's conclude our lesson today about the unicellular organism and its life processes. Then in the next video we will learn about the tissues, the cells and tissues in human, animals and plants, in which we will touch a bit about cells, different type of cells and tissues. So that's all for today's video. Thank you.